Hi, my name's John and this is my partner Michelle, and this is our 7-year-old 70,000 mile Tesla Model S.
Come with us as we travel through 9 countries from the south coast of the UK to the top of Norway. A journey of over 5,000 miles in a car that the tabloid press would have you believe has little to no battery performance left.
And let's see whether the Tesla charging network is up to the job of getting us all the way there and all the way back. Because if it is, Elon's paying for all the fuel. Welcome to the long free ride.
Beginning of day 3, and it'll be my first driving day really on the continent for, well, I don't remember, so it's probably over a decade. So trying not to make John nervous about that, as it's his car, but we'll see how we get on. But I'm looking forward to a good day. We are crossing 4 waterways, I think, in about the first 90 minutes. So I'm hoping that John will be able to get some good stuff on the camera. And then head up north of Amsterdam to Hoorn, where we get to stay in a prison. So stay with us for that. I'm hoping somebody will let us out of the cell in the morning.
Having left the hotel and travelled around the outskirts of Bruges, we picked up some more rural roads to head up along the west coast of Belgium and then into Holland. It wasn't long till we crossed the border, nothing really there, just the roadside. The terrain continued to be flat and just farmland, fairly featureless. We were hoping to come across a nice set of bridges to show you as we crossed from island to island along the west coast of the Netherlands, but it turned out to be tunnels. We've reached our mid-morning stop for some charge while we get a coffee. This is in a town called Middelburg in the Netherlands, and sort of on the west coast. It's part of a hotel complex, and I think there's some sort of shopping around here as well, but called Prison Island, interestingly, considering we're staying in a former prison tonight. Bit of work going on as well, but the car's happily charging away. As you can see, we're the only people here at the Tesla charger, so always handy. And we'll probably be here for about 20 minutes, as I say, while we have a coffee. This leg we've charged up pretty much to 100%. So that we can get ourselves all the way to the destination for today, a place called Hoorn, which is in northern Netherlands. We're going to do a little bit more driving through countryside roads, which is what we've done so far, and then to get past Rotterdam and Amsterdam we'll be using the motorways. We've arrived at Hoorn, or the supercharger at Hoorn. This isn't where we're staying tonight, the actual hotel that's by the supercharger. We've, as you said, I think we've said before, we've got ourselves a prison to go to. So we'll be heading off for there in a little while once we've collected some charge, and that will then get us enough to get us on to the next place tomorrow, which will be a long day tomorrow. It's a big push.
Yeah, it looks like it's 10 hours.
To get to Copenhagen. But after we last saw you at the previous hotel where we got some charge, we took a rural route across a number of sort of islands on the west coast of the Netherlands, and lots of wind turbines there, lots of big sort of dam infrastructure, and in the middle of one of them was a sort of was a recreational park, really, I guess. There was water slides and and what else was it?
Little ferry trips.
and a mussel farm. So we thought we'd stop and put the drone up, which we did. I would have flown it a bit more, but the mobile that I was using to control it went completely flat, and so
Tech fail.
Yeah, so I need to make sure I charge it up properly, or check to see if the phone's working properly.
So we might not have drone footage.
Oh no, we'll have drone footage, but I'm fairly sure we've got drone footage.
Okay.
But when it all goes black and you've got to then get it back, it all becomes a bit worrying. But of course, you'd never fly a drone further away than you can visually see it. So bringing it back is no problem whatsoever.
Well, then you can see it.
Well, yeah, otherwise it'd be about 4 foot, wouldn't it? There we
Would
go.
not be good drone footage.
Anyway, moving on. How were the mussels, darling? Oh,
I
you don't
didn't
know.
have mussels.
You didn't. You had fish, didn't you?
Yeah.
But we had
How were your mussels?
We had some very cheap mussels. I had some very cheap mussels, and you had some very cheap fish, and it was absolutely gorgeous, wasn't it?
Yeah, really good. Fresh off the boat.
Fresh
we
off
watched it
literally.
be uploaded.
You watch the mussel boats unloading into the factory, and they have a sort of restaurant thing. So
it's obviously known by the locals because there were quite a few people around.
There was a lot, yeah.
And people collecting, like buckets of seafood that they were then taking home.
And then after that, we hit the road again, crossed a few more islands, put a camera on the top of the car, so probably as I'm telling you this, I'll be showing you some of that footage, and eventually then started picking up the motorways to head up to Hoorn. Lots of congestion and a number of accidents and whatever, but but
we have sort of scooted past Antwerp, The Hague, Rotterdam and Amsterdam, so fairly big cities. You'd expect some sort of road traffic hold up somewhere.
Yeah, so it's been all right, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking forward to our cell experience tonight, and then tomorrow, as John said, to get into Copenhagen.
Wonderful, wonderful Copenhagen. We shall see how wonderful it is.
And that'll be country 5 on our road trip. Arriving in Hoorn, we found our way to our prison hotel called Hotel Oysterland. I'm pronouncing that wrong, so the name will be on the screen. It's officially a former prison and built on an artificial island in the harbour. And it was a prison up till 2003. So the rooms are noticeably small. They've used 2 cells to make 1 bedroom, but I believe there are more modern parts of the hotel which you can stay in a more luxurious room. However, in moving stuff from the car to the hotel room, we discovered a problem with the car, and it meant we were running late and sort of ran into town to get dinner. But we're going to come back to Hoorn because it looked really picturesque, and definitely there's a lot of history about that harbour area that we've yet to explore. So, I think you better explain the problem with the car.
Yes, we do have a problem with the car,
but that's not why we're in a prison cell.
No, we chose to come to a prison cell, but it may not have been the best choice of rooms given how small it is on a night that we had to take everything out of the car because we can't effectively lock it.
We've left the snacks though.
We left the snacks, yeah.
In the car.
Well, hopefully that will just make the robbers go away feeling that they've got something nice. Sweet treats. But the problem is one that I've had twice before in this car, and I've owned the car about 4 years. So it is what you might want to call a persistent problem. It is a design defect, so even when it gets fixed this time, it will eventually break again because it's a design defect. It's called the cinch motor. What this cinch motor does is when you close the boot or the trunk, if you're out in the Americas, it then pulls the trunk lid, the boot lid, tight to the car, and they break all the time on the Model S Teslas, particularly the older ones like mine. and that means that they need to be replaced. And so you don't really want it whilst you're on a European road trip, but here we are. So I've contacted Tesla service, and hopefully they will come back to me, and with a bit of luck we can get it replaced in Copenhagen, or if not Copenhagen, maybe Stockholm. But that's the plan, is to try and get it replaced while we're on the road. If you want to imagine it, it's a bit like if you've ever popped the hood or bonnet on your car, and you know then that there is a latch that still keeps it shut, but it's not properly shut. That's kind of the situation with the trunk or boot, depending on where you come from in the world.
So the driving jeopardy tomorrow is that I'm driving the car at some point along maybe a fast road, and the boot lid flips up and takes out the back windscreen, and all our stuff goes all over the carriageway, causing a multi-car pile-up.
You've been watching too many movies, babes.
Are you telling me that can't happen?
I'm telling you that the aerodynamics of the car probably mean that that's unlikely to happen. And as I said, the boot is already latched shut.
Okay.
So
long as my underwear isn't going to be strewn across
3 lanes of motorway.
Well, and possibly 2 different countries that we're covering tomorrow.
Big pair of knickers to cover 3 lanes of motorway, but there we go. No, I don't believe that will be the case. The bigger problem is the fact that, of course, the car is constantly telling you it has got errors, in that the boot is open and you shouldn't be driving and all that sort of stuff. So,
and didn't you say there was a problem that we wouldn't be able to see the sat-nav properly?
Well, yeah, because it's constantly got a picture telling you that you're doing something wrong. But we'll see what it's like tomorrow, and we shall soldier on. That's what you do. You overcome.
Right. Okay. And I've learned a valuable lesson today anyway about booking hotel rooms, and to avoid anywhere that says in the facilities heating and carpet. Because if they're having to list that, they've got naff all else. Can't even make tea or coffee.
No. But it is a prison cell.
It is a prison cell.
So it is what they advertise, darling.
Yes, it is. It is definitely that.
Right. But the ward will be coming down.
What, lights out?
Lights out, yeah. The distance covered in this episode was 192 miles, which works out to be 308 kilometres. Driving those 192 miles consumed 65 kilowatt hours of battery power.
2 charges in total on this leg of the trip. Started the day by leaving Bruges with 76% battery in the car. Arrived at Middelburg for the first charge of the day with 49%. Left that charger when it reached 95%. And then drove all the way to Hoorn, arriving with 39%, and charged it back up to 90%, because we know that the next leg of the journey should be a big one. In total, we were connected to chargers for 1 hour and 12 minutes.
Because we used superchargers for the 2 charges that we took today, we didn't get any cost. If you don't understand why we don't get charged for electricity, then do check out our charging video, link in the description. And there were no other ancillary costs, although we now know there will be some coming, don't we? So let's add the stats from this episode across to the trip stats.
We're about to show you what's coming up in the next episode. But just before we do, why don't you take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the Long Free Ride channel, and perhaps send us a little comment. Let us know you're there. Tell us what you think. Thank you. We found a Tesla workshop that could fit us in to look at the car, but can they fix it and keep the long free ride on the road?